لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك
في المدينة
محمد نبينا بنور هدينا محمد نبينا بنور هدينا.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria (NAHCON) says it will continue to operate within the policy framework of the federal government led by President Muhammadu Buhari in order to ensure that the government records more successes in Hajj management. The Assistant Director of Information at NAHCON, Hajia Fatima Muhammad Mustafa, stated this in an interview, saying the APC government of President Muhammadu Buhari has made giant strides in boosting Hajj management. They include timely airlift of pilgrims, securing good accommodation in Mecca and Medina for pilgrims, improved medical services, transparency and accountability, improved transportation system in Saudi Arabia, and purchase of Metro Plaza as NAHCON's new headquarters.
NAHCON was able to acquire the Metro Plaza through AMCON with encouragement from the leadership of this government of President Muhammadu Buhari.
The Assistant Director further reiterated the commitment of NAHCON to renovate the new headquarters without relying on federal government for fund.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria (NAHCON) urges all intending pilgrims from all states of the Federation to start installment payments of at least 300,000 naira monthly for this year's Hajj from November 2017 to March 2018.
The payments and registration should be made at respective state Muslim pilgrims welfare offices nationwide through the NAHCON online registration portal at www.nigeriahajcom.gov.ng free of charge. Therefore, no fee is required for any form for the 2018 Hajj registration at all, nor by the pilgrims registration officers of the state's board.
Payments could be made by bank draft or online platforms of the state pilgrims welfare offices, and receipt must be collected there and then. No cash payment to any person.
All intending pilgrims traveling through states Muslim pilgrims welfare agencies, boards, commissions, and those traveling using tour operators must know that the 2018 Hajj calendar requires that by March ending, all payments must have been concluded in Nigeria to finalize preparations against the May 2018 deadline for the closure of Saudi Hajj portal.
This message is from the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria.
Apart from the organization and supervision of Hajj activities, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria (NAHCON) is also responsible for doing the same when it comes to Umrah or Lesser Hajj. This is in line with the act establishing the Commission, which says the Commission shall license, regulate, supervise and perform oversight functions over organizations, associations, corporate or non-corporate, or similar bodies engaged in organizing and coordinating the movement of persons from Nigeria to Saudi Arabia to perform Hajj or Umrah, providing accommodation, transportation and other services related to the performance of the Hajj and Umrah. Alhaji Ali Dushute is the head unit of the tour operators at NAHCON. He gives an insight on how the Commission regulates the Umrah exercise in Nigeria.
How do we do this? Let's start from the registration of Umrah companies. For those who want to apply for Umrah license, they are to obtain Umrah application form from National Hajj Commission of Nigeria after paying the non-refundable fee. After making the payment, they are to fill this form with necessary information and submit the form to the Commission, accompanied with relevant documents. 1, the Corporate Affairs Commission certificate with not less than 30 million share capital, accompanying with the Form CAC2 and CAC7. These two forms will give us the details of those who are behind the complaints.
Other requirements include reference letter from the company's banks, evidence of ownership of company's location, and compliance with the rules of the International Air Transport Association, IATA.
After submission of all these documents, we now embark on inspection of the company. We have our team that will visit the place, that will visit the office to ascertain that yes, the office is there. Yes, the office is well equipped. Yes, the office is up to standard. Apart from this, we also allow security agencies to conduct due diligence on the applicants' tour companies, on the company itself, and on those people behind the company.
Once the Commission grants companies the license to operate, the next step is for NAHCON officials to go on oversight to ascertain the level of compliance with laid-down rules for taking pilgrims to perform Umrah.
We do perform oversight functions, both onshore and offshore. Like I mentioned, the Commission has a team of inspectors from time to time. They move around the country, check the workings of the Umrah companies to ascertain whether they are acting based on the terms of reference of their license or not. And if during such inspection, if the Commission finds out that there is disparity in the way such company is moving, definitely the Commission has the mandate to take further necessary action on those complaints.
When pilgrims are in Saudi Arabia for the Umrah, NAHCON ensures that they are provided with services paid for.
During Umrah, a team of inspectors from National Health Commission of Nigeria move to Saudi Arabia to check these Umrah license companies, as well as the Umrah pilgrims. And we have our checklist. We have our forms that we distribute to all Umrah pilgrims, just to give us, to tap information from them on the services being given them by these Umrah companies, whether it's actually what they are paid for or not. Because before any Umrah pilgrims travel to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, he must have paid for a specific package. And the onus lies on the Umrah company to make sure that, yes, the services being rendered in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is in tandem with what the pilgrim has duly paid for in Nigeria.
The reforms being introduced at NAHCON by President Muhammadu Buhari are also making much impact on the Umrah operations, particularly in aviation-related matters.
Licensed Umrah companies who go for scheduled carrier or even charter local airlines from Nigeria. We have a number of them organizing special Umrah flight for Umrah pilgrims. So the Commission comes in and ensure that the services to be rendered for the pilgrims are of international standard, whether for scheduled carrier or for this chartered airline. We do monitor both of them, both chartered and scheduled carriers.
Another aspect of the reforms is the introduction of the e-registration of Umrah pilgrims.
It's not about Hajj alone, because Hajj and Umrah, that is what the Commission stands for. On the part of, for Umrah, now the Commission has put a mechanism in place. Even you have to, all Umrah companies have to register their intended pilgrims online, so that at every point the Commission will have access to details of these Umrah pilgrims. That is part of the reform put in place by the Commission to ensure that we move forward vis-a-vis Umrah management.
In getting the companies as well as pilgrims to understand its policies, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, engages them in some form of enlightenment campaigns.
On the part of the Commission, as part of our supervisory role, we have series of lecture, seminars, and meetings that we have been having with licensed Umrah companies, just to educate them, to enlighten them, and to brief them from time to time on the rules and regulations, both from National Hajj Commission of Nigeria and that of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. For the intended pilgrims, we have a standby program every week on both radio and TV. This is one of the avenues being used by the Commission to educate members of the public on Umrah. There is this very important information for all Umrah pilgrims. If you want to go for Umrah, you are in the airport, we want to plead with you, please do not allow any stranger to carry your bag for you. You are going for Ibadah. We know Nigerians, everybody, all of us, we are big people. Carry your bag by yourself. Do not allow anybody to carry your bag for you in the airport under the pretext of saying they are serving as your protocol officer. Do not allow that. It is dangerous. It is dangerous. That is one. Then two, even your traveling documents. Do not allow anybody to keep your traveling document for you. Your ticket, your passport, and make sure you have your yellow card.
The companies carrying out the Umrah exercise are members of the Association for Hajj and Umrah Operators in Nigeria, NAHCON. During its annual general meeting this year, NAHCON Chairman Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar Muhammad says their activities have contributed to the development of Hajj and Umrah in Nigeria.
And I believe the association has added a lot of value to Hajj and Umrah industry in this country. As a key player, I believe I'm in a very better position to assess the performance of NAHCON in shaping the activities of Hajj and Umrah in this country.
The NAHCON boss stresses the need for members to be more committed in discharging their responsibilities and imbibe the reforms being introduced.
We are going to create an Umrah division or department or unit which will be solely responsible for the monitoring, evaluation, and addressing all issues that has to do with Umrah activity alone. This unit or section or department of the Umrah will also be in charge in taking stock of each and every passenger traveling for Umrah out of this country. We'll work with other government agencies to try as much as we can to reduce the issue of human trafficking through Umrah activity.
محمد نبينا بنور هدينا.
Hajj Talk this week focuses on Umrah or Lesser Hajj as it is otherwise known. Taking us through the processes of performing Umrah is the Imam of the National Mosque Abuja, Sheikh Ibrahim Ahmed Makari. He begins by explaining what the Umrah is all about.
Umrah is an ibadah which the Prophet ﷺ emphasized that the Muslim should try and perform as many so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives one's sins. So it's an act of ibadah done by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which made it sunnah. It's not obligatory, but is highly recommended by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that a Muslim performs as many.
What separates Umrah and the Hajj?
That is this Al-Ashur al-Hurum, and including these 13 days of Dhul Hijjah, it must be. And the day of Arafah, one must stand in Arafah, one must be on Arafah on that particular day. And it is even said in a prophetic tradition that the Hajj is Arafah. So attending Arafah is one of the major things that differentiate Hajj from Umrah. And so spending nights of Mina, Muzdalifah, all these things that are done from the 8 of Hajj till Al-Ifada, till Ayyamul Tarwiyah, what differentiate Hajj from Umrah. And on returning to Mecca, there is Tawaful Ifada, which also is obligatory. And in Hajj there are 3 Tawaful Qudum, when as one comes in, and Tawaful Ifada, which is the obligatory Tawaf, and Tawaful Wada. All these are not part of Umrah.
How then can a pilgrim observe the Umrah rites?
Umrah, it starts by taking the Ihram from the Miqat, and the Niyyah. And alongside the Niyyah, he will say Labbaika Umratan. He will do the Talbiyah with the intention of doing Umrah. Then when one reaches the Haram, he does the Tawaf, these 7 times round the Kaaba. After that, he performs 2 rak'ah beside Maqam Ibrahim, then goes to Safa and does the As-Sa'i between the Safa and Marwa, also 3.5 or 7, starting by Safa and finishing by Marwa. This is the Umrah. Then he cuts his hair and he removes the clothes and he is done. That is only the ibadah of Umrah.
The Imam adds that both men and women must perform all the rites on the same way, saying that the only difference is in the Ihram and the recitation of the Talbiyah.
The only difference is in the cloth, number 1. And the cloth, the man has to remove his clothes and put these 2 clothes, Rida wal Izar, while the woman can perform Umrah in her normal clothes, whatsoever they are pure of Najasa, she can perform in whichever clothes of her she chooses to do. So I think this is the only difference.
Sheikh Makari says, unlike the Hajj, Umrah can be performed at any period of the year.
Umrah is open throughout the year. One can perform Umrah around the 12 months of the year. But being, there are a certain period where Hajj, people used to perform Hajj. So in these days, normally people do not perform Umrah, but Umrah can be performed at any time, at any point of time, any moment. If one is opportune, he can go and perform Umrah. And it's an ibadah that could be done in hours.
On eligibility, the Imam states that every Muslim can take part in the Umrah.
A child can perform the Umrah, and the father who sponsored him or who took him to the Umrah will earn the reward. But being a child, he is not a mukallaf, so is not obliged to do anything ibadah. But if supposing he did, the father will be rewarded for it, and this will not it's not enough for him to to, he has to re-perform the Umrah when he becomes matured.
Being non-compulsory, Sheikh Ibrahim Ahmed Makari discloses that it can be performed as many times as possible by individuals who have the means.
Umrah is all like Hajj, is a nafila, like the Salat. You perform Salatul Isha once, and it is once. But after that, you can perform as many raka'at as the time allows, right? So is Umrah. The Sawm, the Ramadan, is once in a year. But after Ramadan, one can perform as many Sawm fasting as he can afford. So is Zakat. The Zakat is once obligatory in a year, but one can give out his money to the needy whenever he feels the need to do that. So is Umrah as well. The Hajj is once, but the Umrah, you can perform as many Umrah as possible. Among the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there were those who did Umrah more than almost 100 times in their lifetime, like Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu anhu.
A pilgrim can go to Medina before or after the Umrah with the intention of visiting the Prophet's mosque and praying in it.
Ziyaratul Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is highly encouraged by ulama, and it has been a tradition of the Salaf of the ulama in the early history of Islam. Whenever they are going to Mecca to perform Hajj, they pass through Medina to visit the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The ulama, there is this dispute among them. Some of them are saying is to visit the masjid itself, while others are saying no, to visit the Prophet, the owner of the masjid. These are, I think, are technical issues that do not actually impact the visit itself. The important thing is that one should visit the Prophet or the masjid of the Prophet based on whatever he understands during the ibadah. It's not part of the Umrah, neither it's part of Hajj, but it's highly encouraged.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, urges all intending pilgrims from all states of the Federation to start installment payments of at least 300,000 naira monthly for this year's Hajj from November 2017 to March 2018.
The payments and registration should be made at respective state Muslim pilgrims welfare offices nationwide through the NAHCON online registration portal at www.nigeriahajcom.gov.ng, free of charge. Therefore, no fee is required for any form for the 2018 Hajj registration at all, nor by the pilgrims registration officers of the state's board.
Payments could be made by bank draft or online platforms of the state pilgrims welfare offices, and receipt must be collected there and then. No cash payment to any person.
All intending pilgrims traveling through states Muslim pilgrims welfare agencies, boards, commissions, and those traveling using tour operators must know that the 2018 Hajj calendar requires that by March ending, all payments must have been concluded in Nigeria to finalize preparations against the May 2018 deadline for the closure of Saudi Hajj portal.
This message is from the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك